Of November 2nd through 8th, we have a lot of astrology going on. And I'm going to be discussing that very, very in depth in this video. And then I'm going to be adding oracle cards to the end of this video to give spiritual insight and guidance as to how we can navigate this energy. So let's begin by talking about the astrology of November 2nd, which is Sunday, today. This is today's astrology if you're watching this on the day that this video gets published. The very, very first aspect, or maybe one of the aspects going on November 2nd, is Venus square Jupiter. Now, I have this in my natal chart, to be perfectly honest, Venus in Gemini, Jupiter in Virgo. And so this time around, Venus is in Libra, Jupiter is in Cancer, and they're squaring up against each other. So what does this mean? Because these planets are the two benefic planets. They bring the good spice, the good grain, the good grape to life. And so with this energy, you're feeling uplifted, you're feeling upbeat, feeling like life is really, really worth living, and I'm going to take advantage of the moment while I have it. Now, focusing on work, duties, responsibilities might be more difficult at this time. Now, the positive side of this is that you're more extroverted, you're meeting people, you're socializing, you're making friends, and you're feeling very optimistic while doing so. There's a sense of a returning of hope. We are in an equinox, and equinoxes are the more uplifting seasons, and this is more of the feminine equinox. Spring is the masculine equinox. And so, but this does give a sense of optimism. Like there's hope here. The sun will come out tomorrow, that kind of thing. And I'm not going to go into singing that song. But anyway, it may be very, very hard to resist temptation when it comes to indulging in food or drinks or beverages or whatever. You may be very, very addicted to these things and you may go way overboard and you're not knowing the importance of moderating yourself. Now, you can find yourself overspending. It's very, very easy to blow your paychecks or blow your money or blow your direct deposit on materialistic things like shoes and clothes. And for me, because my Venus is in Gemini, anything that stimulates me on a mental and intellectual level is worth investing my money on. Things like clothes, a nice house, those things are not as valuable to me as somebody with a Venus in Gemini. Um, and I also have Mars in Gemini, so I'm driven to go after the things that stimulate me. Um, And so that is a coup pecker of what I want to talk about. So you may be overindulging in the pleasures of life. You may be overdoing it, as I said before. Now, it's very, very important not to be so, on your high horse, to be open-minded, open-hearted, humble, willing to learn, willing to listen, willing to consider different perspectives, different viewpoints. And it's always good to consider this, but especially now, you want to consider how your actions and words affect those in your world. How do your actions and words affect the people that you value, the people that you love, the people that you care about? And you want to really, really take a closer, it's like you have a microscope and you're zooming into your beliefs on abundance, joy, self-worth. All these things are getting looked at this time, and you want to really evaluate these beliefs very, very strongly. You want to understand the balance between external abundance, inner abundance, the middle way versus completely depriving yourself versus overindulging and being filthy rich. So, but anyway, that's more Hinduism, Buddhism, religion myth type things. But so anyway, we're talking about um external um abundance, the physical things that we have in our life versus an inner sense of abundance because money can't buy happiness. The things around us don't give us true happiness. True happiness comes from within. It comes from us feeling a sense of inner abundance about the state of our lives. We can also find that this is a very ripe time for self-understanding and compassion. Um, Knowing ourselves, valuing ourselves, respecting ourselves, loving ourselves. So, then we move on to November 3rd on Monday. Mars is going to trine Neptune. Right before it moves into Sagittarius, it will trine Neptune at the critical anaretic 29th degree of Pisces. Mars at 29 degrees of Scorpio, or Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. This, particularly if it's a water time, it amplifies this. But um, this is us really acting from a place of love and compassion for others and ourselves. This is good to do creative things that require physical effort to do those things, like painting or pottery. This lights a fire under you, giving you spiritual courage, making you feel very courageous towards your unduct duties of what you put yourself out into the world being. And so this gives a sense of courage. It gives a sense of bravery here. Defending those that you deeply value and care about is really, really important. Now, another good thing that you could use this transit for is being generous of spirit. And let's see if that card comes up when we pull a card. It'll be very interesting if that card comes up. I don't know what cards will come up. You'll have to wait to the end of this video to find out what the card or cards are. And I am using, in this video, I'm using the Gateway Oracle by Denise Lynn. I have used the heck out of this deck. I know it really, really well by this point. It's the deck I turn to when I'm looking for permission slips to do something, when I'm looking for freedom, liberation, the green light to go ahead and do something. That's when I turn to this deck. Um, and it's one of my go-to decks for specific questions, depending upon what those questions are. So in general lining. So anyway, getting back to these types of things. So getting involved in giving back to humanity, supporting a charity, giving to a charity. There's a desire to save people, animals, and the environment. Um, and there is, also it's very, very important to be kind to others, to not be so argumentative, to not be so combative. Understand what the healthy conflict is, but understanding what argument for argument's sake comes into play here. Now, this is a good transit to selflessly give back to others. This is good for you can't operate off of an empty tank. You can't survive in an empty well. You need water. You need replenishment. You need to recharge your batteries. And so self-care is really, really important now. Not over giving to others, but giving from a place of being taking care of yourself. This way I can give more from my heart. That's the benefit of taking care of yourself and self-care. So, another positive side of this is we can be very much giving to others, which is a very, very good quality, yet we can neglect our own needs. We can forget that we have a body, we have our own human needs. We also need to balance giving and receiving. This is very, very important for us. Balancing these two things is highly critical. That's important in a relationship. Creativity is really, really important now. Cultivating compassion for yourself and others is really important. Now, Jupiter is going to trine Saturn, the next aspect going on today. And what this means is Jupiter trine Saturn is we're focused on our long-term goals. That's what our mind is really put into being is, the goals that we have set out for ourselves, for the length of time. This is a good transit for productivity and efficiency. It's a good thing to start new things and expand them out into the world. You want to be clear about your goals as well, and be very, very deliberate about this kind of things. You want to find practical solutions to problems, not being so attached to woe is me, this problem is going on, but actually being receptive to, oh, here's a solution for this problem. Here's the the way about this problem. That kind of thing. So I can relate to that. My Jupiter in Virgo is really into complaining and criticizing. And so one of the lessons of Jupiter and Virgo is to be open to the positive side of things, open to the potentials and the solutions to problems. Um, so you want to, this is a good time for earning respect, recognition, and success. This is a very, very productive time as well. Um, you, things that are concrete, things that are tangible, things that you can utilize your five senses with is very, very important now. You also want to make time for solitude, self-care, like that other aspect I talked about. Um, Paternal and maternal energy will give you care and support at this time. Be open to receive this support. You want to cut your losses. You want to move forward. And the challenges and the obstacles that you face in your life really can be, the more positive, outlook of this is these challenges are opportunities for growth. Um, you can also make space for lasting rewards for your efforts. That's really, really strong to put into this being, being so for what it is. Okay, so then we move on to Jupiter in Cancer, trine Lilith in Scorpio at 25 degrees. And so next week, the week after this, Mercury and Jupiter will both be going retrograde. So I'll be here to talk about that when we get there. But the Jupiter retrograde is approaching, and I have Jupiter retrograde natally, so it'll be more of a time of going out into the world, of putting myself out there as opposed to caving in. It will feel more familiar to me. It will feel more natural to me as someone with Jupiter retrograde in my natal birth chart. So, Jupiter trine Lilith. This gives you joy. This gives you fun and play, a fresh perspective on life, a more positive philosophical perspective, because that's what Jupiter rules, is philosophy. It's a good fortune. You want to push beyond your boundaries and expand your horizons. That's always very Sagittarian, because they're always looking to do that. Embrace your emotions and trust your instincts. Go with your gut. Lean into the feelings. It's a reverse disassociation. It's okay to feel these things. Allow yourself to feel. You want to be free. You want to be independent as opposed to adhering to societal norms. That's what you value. You want to openly express your beliefs. It's very, very important. You want to rise and shine as a leader. You may have a rebellious nature to you at this time. You may feel like you want to just go against structures or systems or rules. It's good to show your true beliefs. Now, November 4th, Mars moves into Sagittarius. Mars was in Scorpio since the 22nd of September. And so it's been really putting the very, very sharp, intense focus. And now it has moved into Sagittarius and it will be here until December 15th. So Mars in Sag is really, really optimistic. It's a go-getter energy. I have my sights on something and I have the optimism and confidence in myself to go after it. That's what Mars in Sag is. Supporting others in need, being very generous is a really, really big thing with this transit. Educating yourself, expanding your mind, expanding your body, expanding your experience. You want to act on new creative ideas, taking these ideas and turning them into physical manifestations, actually acting upon them and embodying these ideas. You want to get outside, you want to be physical, always very, very good with Mars and Sag. Now, your love might be very grandiose, very big, very dramatic, very expressive, very loud forms of love at this time, because Venus is one of the, you know, Mars is the divine masculine, Venus is the divine feminine. So these are the two husband and wife planets in astrology. The focus is on Mars here. Um, so you want to explore your capabilities. That's something really, really important at this time to consider is exploring those capabilities of yours, doing what you're capable of, you know, that kind of thing. Now, Sagittarius has an expansive view of life. We're seeing the possibilities and things. We're seeing the potentials and things we previously didn't see before. We have the drive to manifest the vision into tangible form. You want to enter into new territory with confidence. And you want to pay a lot of attention to the future. Now, the downside of this transit is we're being impulsive. We're taking foolish risks. We're taking idiotic risks. We're not considering the ramifications and the consequences of our actions. We're going overboard. We're not moderating ourselves. We want to seek the truth. We're always looking for truth at this time. Remain open to answers that have important message to us. Remain open to signs and things like that. Um, and so there are multiple ways of living. Um, not just one way of living, one way of going about life. Expand your heart and mind, travel and explore. Um, that's what you want to do. Now, Mars is going to oppose Uranus. Mars, when it immediately enters Sag, is going to oppose Uranus at 0 degrees of Gemini, moving retrograde. So Uranus will move back into Taurus November 8th. But so anyway, this transit, Mars opposite Uranus. Energy, desire, the need for liberation are really, really big themes with this. Other themes that come about with this transit are stubbornness, rebelliousness, and recklessness. Really, really being destructive with a need to shake things up, the need to change or break the mold or something, or we want to use it for the hybrid. We don't want to disrupt the status quo of our life and things like that. We don't want to completely take over our lives. Anger and frustration that ignites explosive outbursts. Um, that may be a really, really big thing with this. Rash actions that may be self-destructive, outbursts that are temperamental and filled with anger, surrounded by chaotic energies, so really acting out in very, very strong ways. Being very independent is a big thing. The wanting to be very, very independent. Making sudden changes in your relationship, which changes may destroy the relationship if you're not careful. So that's very, very important to keep in mind. So there's a need here to cause disruption and chance in a self-aware kind of way. So now let's move on to November 5th. November 5th. What is going on this particular day? We have the full moon in Taurus at 13 degrees. So the sun is in Scorpio, the moon is in Taurus, the moon is exalted in the sign because it stabilizes us, it grounds us, but I don't believe in planetary dignity. Every planet in a sign has its upsides, its downsides, and so I want to make it equal to the other moon placements and transits. So anyway, this lunation is happening at 13 degrees. It is not making any other aspects to any planets. This is the energy of this full moon. What are we looking at here? Well, things are coming to a head during full moons. Always during a full moon, we have a culmination or a closure. And so, what is coming to a head is all of our efforts that we have planted those seeds of intention back at the new moon in Taurus early this year, which was April 27th of this year was the new moon in Taurus. And so we made our intentions, very, very strongly, setting those intentions. And now we're reaping the rewards. We manifested and now it's coming full circle now. So, um, so the results of our efforts of being proud of hard work. So being very, very proud of our hard work. Um, so what intentions, what desires did you set for yourself in your field of dreams earlier this year? Now, Taurus moves in a very, very slow and steady kind of way. It's very methodical. It's one step in front of the other. Letting go of goals and dreams that no longer resonate and serve you for your highest good is for your highest good. So, what are those goals, those ideas, those things that you want to manifest that you know are not good for you, or what is good for you? Choose to do what is good for you. You want to release what is not making you savor the moment and be in the present, because that's what Taurus is. It is about being present to the moment. It is about enjoying all the sensual pleasures, the five senses. And so Taurus is about being here and now. So can we be here and now? Can we lean into the stability and security of the present moment? So this moon, this lunation is about feeling abundance, feeling inner abundance, feeling gratitude for the things that we have in our lives. Now, it is easy for me to say I know that, but I really, really want to emphasize taking stock of what you have in your environment already around you, in your situation of what you have, and really counting all those blessings is very, very important. So being authentic and true to yourselves about how we really feel is huge at this time. Being honest with ourselves. It's very important to appreciate what we already have. It may be heightened emotions that dramatic and impulsive behavior might come up at this time. Um, and so November 6th, what is going on November 6th? Well, Mars is going to sextile Pluto. So Mars at 1 degree of Sagittarius sextile Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius. What does this indicate? Well, we have a sharp and intense focus on achieving our goals. That's the main feature of this energy. This is good to accomplish complex tasks, difficult tasks. That's what we want to invest in at this time. Um, we want to, um, our survival instincts, we want to lean into those, we want to go with our gut. We may be projecting, our physicality and sexuality very, very strongly. That may get, looked at really hugely. Um, It's very important to stand up for yourself if you feel attacked. Um, Value honesty, value truthfulness, being true to yourself. You may be too self-righteous. You may be very, very very caught up in yourself, getting caught up in your own perceptions instead of considering others' viewpoints. It's very important to be open to the viewpoints of others, collaborating with others, working with others is very, very important. Grounding your ideas into physical, tangible reality. So, being open to the viewpoints of others, working with others, collaborating, all this kind of things like that. Um, Grounding your ideas into everyday reality, is very important. Now, Venus is going to enter Scorpio on this particular day, and it will be there until the end of this month, until right after Mercury goes direct on November 29th. Venus will move into Sagittarius on November 30th. So a good 24 days of Venus in Scorpio. So Venus in Scorpio is really about um, we have very, very deep, passionate relationships with others. Our relationships are very, very deep, very intense. Um, Sensual pleasures are amplified. Our relationships are hugely important to us. They hugely matter to us. We're very, very devoted. We're very loyal to those that we love. This is a transit of the profound and mysterious aspects of life are very, very important to us now. Um, Now, the downside of this is shutting off and repressing vulnerability, being both sensitive and passionate at the same time. Now, the thing with Venus and Scorpio is it delves deep into love. It's not looking for superficial connection, it's looking for deep, real soul to soul connection. That's what it's looking for. Once to look at who you are on the inside, who you are at the deepest level of yourself, who you are really, what you're feeling really. That's Venus and Scorpio. Depth and intensity can be very, very huge now as big themes going on into love, obsessing over the person that you love and care about. You want to shine a light on the shadows of our on your relationships. So that's the real focus now. You want to go below the surface, find the truth, and bring it up for healing. So, what needs to be brought into conscious awareness? What needs to be brought up for healing? Go below the surface, bring these things up, acknowledge these things, and heal those things ultimately. Um, this can look at power and control issues. The big thing with this, we may have a stronger bond with someone we care deeply about as the result of this transit. In the November 7th, Venus is going to square Pluto. So Venus is in um, Scorpio now. Pluto is in Aquarius at 1 degree. So Venus square Pluto is jealousy, manipulation, and possessiveness. Those are really, really big themes of this transit. You may have a deeply buried fear of not being worthy or loved enough or valued enough. Um, that may cause you to act in very negative, destructive ways because of this low self-worth and not being loved enough. You may be threatened or give threats if you feel controlled by others. An unhealthy relationship may break down, which would be highly painful and dramatic for you. Relationships intensify during this transit. It's very, very important to not manipulate others through for self-centered gain. It is compassionate prosperity. Is what I am doing, is what I am asking of others going to hurt them or be not for their highest good, or will it be for their highest good and your highest good ultimately? So you may have greater passion and or tension in relationships that may be really, really big thing. On November 8th, the sun will trine the North Node in Pisces. So the sun is at 16 degrees of Scorpio. The North Node is at 16 degrees of Pisces. So the sun trine the North Node is where we're feeling a sense of luck. We're feeling a sense of hope again. If you express yourself, your ideals will be more widely accepted. You want to deepen your relationship with masculine figures in your life, your father or your mentors. Taking ownership over your achievements is really important. This is a time which is a great time for personal growth. Growing yourself in any way, shape, or form is great for that. This is also great for leadership qualities, putting in leadership qualities into what you want to present out into the world. Um, Relationships that serve your personal growth will get looked at very, very critically at this time, as these relationships really, really matter now. So what are the relationships that do serve your personal growth and which are the relationships that don't? The final message here is to trust your gut, to trust your intuition, to trust your instincts, and go after the inner voice that truly knows what is for your highest good. So now that we've done the astrology, I want to pull an oracle card now, or a couple oracle cards from the Gateway Oracle by Denise Lim. Going into this completely cold, not knowing which cards are going to come out. Let's just see what comes out. So the question is, what does the collective need to know for the week of November 2nd, 2025? Whoops. And the card is standing firm. I am noble, brave, and strong. So you can see this, this man in the card standing very, very strong. This is a message to really, really be firm in your convictions, to be loving in a very, very fiercely loving kind of way, to be in your power. This doesn't mean being destructive or violent towards others by any stretch of the imagination. There is a such thing as having a calm, peaceful, um, sense of power. And being, well, in this case, it's being firm in your convictions and firm in your ideals and your beliefs. Um, really, just being strong and powerful. And so that is a message for this week is standing firm. What are you going to stand firm about? Uh, and so that's really what you need to think about, or what you don't need to think about it, but what I'm inviting you to think about and consider during this particular week. So that is the message for the collective. In other videos, I'll occasionally pull more cards, but I think that is a good message for now. I may do 2 to 3 cards or however many I feel like for many different types of videos. Who knows? I'll leave it open-ended. But from now on, I will include oracle cards in my videos from this point forward. So anyway, thank you for watching. Like this video, share this video, do all the things that you can do that are provided for you under this video. Check out the description to see a summary of this video. Um, and I will see you in the next video, which will be about Venus in very materialistic and very structured sign of Capricorn and what it could mean. We're really exploring the importance of long-term relationships. When Venus and Capricorn get together, we're looking for the cream of the crop, long-term relationships. So I'll talk about that more in that video. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.